today the conversation is going to be based on the creative arts industry. We'll start with the arts and tourism, and then at the latter part of the show, we'll move to the modeling industry in Ghana. My name is Nanaya Tanwa Boache, and I'm doing this with Helen Anyeweja, aka Helen K, and also Harriet Adi. I'm tempted to say it's been a long time since we saw Harriet.
Right? No, that's a lie. It's Monday I was here.
Are you sure?
You can't even.
You see, ladies, you're welcome to the show. It's going to be interesting, and anything that has to do with the creative art space, every time I'm super, super excited because I feel that's the sector that is actually right now putting Ghana on the map. So Harriet will be leading the conversation on the art and tourism, and then at the latter part of the show, we'll do the modeling industry because today, it was only today I got to know that we have a model association of Ghana.
I never knew. I was so surprised.
Yeah, so
Maybe they don't
we'll
make
be doing that.
questions.
Yeah, we'll be doing that at the latter part of the show. But then I'll leave everything to Harriet.
Okay, so yes, as Nanaya said, we are looking at arts and tourism, and to help us have that discussion is Philip Boache Dua Oyinka, popularly known as Nana Asasi. He is a poet, a literary coach, and writer. I think he's the best person to have to talk about this particular topic, arts and tourism. And I have the founder of Let's Talk GH, that is Samuel Apia Aponsa, and also Brittany Redu Boatin, who is also a partner and club member. Welcome to Entertainment Review. We call this table the...
Welcome to our table of life.
Table of
I like
life.
to do that introduction. This is our table of
Welcome to the table
This
of
is your
life.
first time on the table of life.
Yeah.
No, you've been to other shows, but
Yes.
this table of life, this is your
An
first time.
entertainment review.
Yeah.
Thank you for welcoming me
You're
to the
welcome.
table of life.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with tourism and arts here. How lucrative or how let's say how lucrative is tourism in Ghana here? I'm starting with Nana Asasi before we come to Let's Talk GH.
Okay, how lucrative is tourism? Good afternoon, everybody who is watching the entertainment review show, and welcome to the table of life.
Yes.
And
Or let's say how appealing is the arts and in tourism in Ghana here?
art in tourism.
Yeah, art in
Thank you very
tourism,
much
yeah.
for bringing this one home
Yes.
to me.
Yeah.
When we receive tourists, what do they come to see? Beyond the natural tourist sites we have, it's the culture they come to experience. And so I believe that there's a long way to go in strengthening what our culture is, or the content of tourism. Because people now want to go to the Cape Coast Castle. It's okay. Go there, see it. Go to Kakum, go to all these places. When you're done, it's people you will meet.
Yeah.
When you're done with all these things, during our tours, typically I see people engage us. We give them a feel of our traditional dances, our cuisine. Even while we're doing our tours, we're looking at things like architecture, because these things are essentially artistic expressions. You know, when they're done, what do they want to buy? They want to buy these arts, crafts, these paraphernalia, and take them back with them. I feel that, well, it's creating livelihood for people, so it's lucrative. People are getting into that sector by the day, but there is so much more that has not been explored, so much more that could be done. When I'm not doing poetry and all of these things, I was just telling you, I'm a tour guide with the Party Crew GH. So I've gone to travel quite a bit of Ghana, I've visited most of our tourist sites and all these spaces. What can we do to improve these things? Let's check the road network.
Road network.
A road network. Let's put in things like Wi-Fi. These things would really improve all of it. But more importantly, let us empower practitioners of the culture. These are the repositories of our culture, people who run cultural troops, traditional authorities, our tour guides themselves, the extent of their knowledge. I think these things would help us go a long way. I'm sure the table will come back
Yes,
to me.
that's
So.
Let me do a follow-up on what Nana said. Nana, based on everything that you said from points, if you are not doing that, you are doing tourism and other things, the contribution of arts to the development of tourism in this country, would you say it's enough, there's more room for improvement, or we can do better?
More room for improvement and can do better would be in the same class. For now, I think practitioners are doing a lot. Okay. So when you talk about the arts to fill the space of tourism, will do with your modeling, like you mentioned, you're going to have that conversation. It's got to do with film, it's got to do with music, it's got to do with poetry, it's got to do with traditional music, traditional dance, traditional cuisine. I think there are a lot of people in this service area, just that sometimes they don't even realize they're artists. People who cook don't realize they are artists. It's an art form they are practicing. And so I feel there's still room to expand that space.
Yeah.
And every other thing around us, all these external factors going on that every Ghanaian feels, has a direct impact on the things that we feel as artists or practitioners or content for tourism. Yeah. And so I feel that there's still room to improve. The creative economy is one that has not really been tapped into very much.
Samuel, I mean, you are with Let's Tour GH. How long have you been doing this?
Technically, let's say 5 years.
5 years. And so far, what would you say are some of the shortfalls when it comes to tourism in Ghana here?
Okay, so I would say good afternoon to our viewers, and I'm very grateful to be here to share this idea on the table of life. Okay, so with the tourism industry, it's been quite a hassle. 5 good years running a private business and then trying to manage and see how best we can serve people, make sure that we give different experiences to people. And the most challenging part is being able to have tourists use your services over and over again, because it's based on what you give them. Now, when we plan our packages, we usually look at what the country has. We look at roads, we look at rest stops, because you're receiving guests from outside. You need to look at all those things. If you're going from here to Cape Coast, are there any rest stops, any official rest stops on the way which people can use anytime they want to take a pee break or something? So at the end of the day, we try as much as possible to identify spots. And in other countries, it's made easier because there is a whole gallery or the whole directory where you can get to look at this. On your way to Kakum, there's a rest stop here. And the government has actually put things in place to help tourists. You get it? So it makes
That's not the case in Ghana here,
no,
right?
No, that's definitely not the case. In our cases, we are supposed to think around or find the best possible solution to make sure that our guests actually feel at home.
I mean, tourism brings in a lot of income. I just wish that we could get the estimate so that we can really understand how important tourism is to the country. Now, you are more of a poet. You sell Ghana through your poetry and all that. What do you think can be done to, apart from government coming into?
Okay.
I mean, government is always the solution to everything. Whatever. No, poor roads government, hunger government, everything government. But let's take a look away from government. What else can be done? Because he's mentioned that you need to have websites that will tell you that, okay, we are going to Kakum, and you get this rest stop here and there. This road leads to there. It's just recently that we had a Google Maps to get our location and all of that. What else can be done?
What else can be done? So you have sites like TripAdvisor and Co. These are not Ghanaian
sites.
And they've been able to give you a very good catalog of where to go, where to stop, and all of that. Ghanaian tech companies can get into this sector. Tourism. I feel collaboration is the way to go as what do you call it? Practitioners in the tourism sector. Now, some tour agents get in touch with practitioners like us. Look, I'm bringing this number of people here. I want you to give me a troupe. I need this number of dancers from across Ghana. So you give them an evening of, Ghanaian music, Ghanaian dance, a bit of history. Do you get my point? Some also will take you on a tour and give you the historical perspective beyond the fun element. What can Ghanaian artists do? In our music, why we want to project our culture if we really want to project it? Let's shoot with some of these tourist sites. Let's mention them. Let's mention the names of our towns, of our villages, places you'd love to see in Ghana. Let's make music about these things. Let's make music about our food. Let's make movies about our food, about the places that somebody can see in Ghana.
So are you saying that at the moment, creative art or people in the creative industry are not doing a lot, or they are not doing much?
Definitely something is going on, but a lot more can be done.
Okay.
And then, earlier on you were talking about, empowerment,
Yes.
the likes of tour guides and
Yeah.
all that. What are you looking at, or who are you looking at when you talk about empowerment? Who should empower them?
Fantastic. I went to Tete Kwashi's cocoa farm. And this young man started telling the story of how Tete Kwashi brought cocoa to Ghana. And he said he smuggled. I was like, hold it right there. That was exactly what I did. In front of everybody, I was like, Chief, hold it right there.
Yeah.
Correct yourself and tell me the story all over again. All the gold that was shipped from here and taken wherever in the
Yeah.
world, was it smuggled?
They won't even mention that.
Thank you very much.
Africa. Yeah.
And so if somebody went somewhere, he saw something good, and he brought it over to another, you see, the narrative, what narrative are we even sharing? The first time I went to Bonre, I almost cried. I was like, Charlie, all the Bonre hype, this is what it is. And so please, at the local level, look, it's not everything that has got to do with government. We are the people working in these spaces. How do we improve it? How do we improve these spaces, the experience that people are about to have with our culture? Are you here with me?
Yeah.
So it depends on us. There are some things,
We need
our
to tell
local
our
problems,
story.
they need local solutions. We need to tell our stories as it is. I was in Nigeria over the weekend
Right.
for the Lagos International Poetry Festival. I went on stage with the Maracas, wearing kinti, wearing a hinima. Everybody else would come with their normal shirt.
Suit and
Yeah.
tie.
Yeah, Charlie, Ghana. I was in my smokes. I deal in smokes. Immigration, look, everybody. I think you facilitated my process from point A to everybody was. It's different because they have similar fabrics, but ours is different. It was heavier.
Yeah.
So can we just make these deliberate efforts? Beyond artists, at every point, everybody is a tourism ambassador. Once you are traveling out of this country, let's make sure to do these things. When our ministers are going, when the president is going out to other countries, Mr. President, please, let's put on our smokes. Let's put on our African prints. Suits, Ayana.
I think our president is doing well when it comes to that. With his-
I don't want to
Always
mention a
better than
particular
yes.
incident, but if you get my point,
Yeah.
as practitioners, you see, hone your craft, polish it. When the music is good, you pay to hear it twice. He was mentioning about how to get people to come and use your services every single time. It's the experience that we are selling to these people.
Yeah.
If someone comes to Bonre and they realize, oh, it's just some old clothes hanging there, it doesn't really bring much.
True.
And so there are a few suggestions that leadership can put in place. Let's put a bit of mystique to these things. One secret is this: when tourists visit us, all the reasons they keep coming for our festivals is this. You know, there's this thing of mysticism, a bit of the magic, you know, all these displays. They want to know.
Yeah.
But each time we tell them a bit of it and we leave it. He wants to come back the next time, hoping that this time round he'll hear just a bit more.
Yeah.
So these are some of the little things that we need to play on.
So, I mean, from what you're saying,
But let's.
Right.
I want Brittany to come in to tell
sure.
us something interesting because I've been in Ghana all my life. I haven't traveled anywhere. When these, oh yes, it's true. I'm not shy to say that. When these foreigners come and they embark on a tour and they are with Let's Tour GH, what are some of the experience they share? What are some of the things they say? What are some of the things that amaze them that they see in Ghana?
So they get to bond with the club members. So when we go on trips like this, there are so many lineups like games, the food and everything. So when you are even there, you feel at home. You don't feel left out. Everyone is going to engage you, even if you are the shy, timid person, you are able to go around everything. Because me, for instance, I've been on their trip like twice or once and I really loved it. Yeah, I love the way like everybody is so open, fun to be with. Nobody wants to be so, I don't know how to put it, but then
Nobody wants to isolate themselves.
Yes,
They want to
exactly.
be part of the group.
Yes.
Okay.
So being with Let's Tour GH is actually a very fun experience.
get to travel
It
a
says
lot.
you are a club member. So there's the Let's Tour GH in the club. And tell me more about it because I don't know. How do people join? Why is there like sort of a company and a club? You take that, okay.
So, like I said, we started Let's Tour GH in 2017 as a travel company. But along the line, in 2020, we decided to transition it as a club because we were in the travel industry and we actually weren't making any profits from travels, from tourism. You know, it takes people a hell of a time to actually save and say, they want to travel around Ghana or see places. Usually get foreigners rather coming in and seeing the places that Ghanaians don't even know, you know.
Yeah.
So we try to put in some kind of a travel saver plan, which allows people to save, you know, bits every month. If it's 50 cedis, if it's 100 cedis, if it's 200 cedis every month over a period of time. As you save, we keep drawing our packages. Every year we have like about 24 experiences, 2 every month. So within a month you can choose between our day trip or our sleepover experience. In that case, if you've already saved about 600 cedis with us, because we equate a CD to a point. Yeah. So let's say 600 cedis, which is equivalent to 600 points. The package is out, it's worth, let's say, 400 points. You are able to tell us that I want to redeem this package with my points, because you've already saved enough with us. There's no need for you to go and hustle and go and look for some 600 cedis shit, you know? Yeah. So it makes life easier for you. And we've had so many members that have been able to bring their friends, their families, and our grade of memberships also comes with percentages discounts. Okay. So if you're a gold member, you're entitled to 15%. If she wants to come on a trip with you, she gets 15%, you know, just off the same rate. So she's like your travel partner, because we believe you won't travel alone and then not have so much fun.
If you travel alone, it's not fun. Girls.
Trust me. Trust me.
But alone,
it can be fun.
Single,
right. Fun.
Read me.
Oh, no, it can't be fun.
It can be fun. There's a lot to think about. There's a lot to analyze and
You
all
are not
that.
going to reminisce, so you are going to have fun. It's
Unless,
a
of course, the aim is not to go and have fun.
Yeah. But then
because
Where's the most popular, Nana? Where's the most popular place in Ghana here that people love to visit?
Okay, so far it's been Akosombo back to back. You know?
nearly said I
But you also know that.
was
Right. It seems a lot of people have complained time and time again that it's more expensive to, you know, tour Ghana than to even tour other countries. How true is that? Because you are even talking about, you know, saving the plan and all that. But is it really cheaper, or is it that you think, okay, over the period it's not easy, so you are trying to bring a plan so that everybody can actually tour Ghana?
That's so true, because as Nana rightly said, there's so many factors that go into place when you're putting up a package. Except having the locations, apart from having the locations and then the tour sites, you need to consider the comfort of this tour that you're taking. You get it. If you want to ride around Ghana with a Toyota Land Cruiser V8,
in recent time,
because that's the best vehicle for the roads you have up there. Damongoso, Labimbila, all those places. Yeah. You need this kind of a vehicle.
You can go with a Camry.
Now fuel. You get it. So with these two facts, you can look at that and say, no, let me just pay some $1,000 or $1,300 and go to Dubai.
Yeah.
You get transit in, Kenya, you know, or somewhere, and then they're good to go. They'll rather choose to go outside than to tour Ghana.
Interesting. Yeah. So what can we do about that? Can we really work around that? Or?
The truth about tourists that come to Ghana is they come back to Ghana because of the people here. Aside the sites, 70% of them would come back to Ghana because of the reception, the culture, what they see, the food they eat, you know. Because recently I connected with someone from the Caribbean who was telling me about their food. She came to Ghana and she realized that we have, you know, similar things. Like the food we call abetie, you know, they call it biti.
Oh, but then it's the same food.
It's abetie, it's, you know, kondo eye. We have banku, they call theirs wangu.
Oh.
You know, we have gobe, they call theirs rice and peas, you know.
Right.
But with music, with dance, with food, with fashion, with
poetry,
poetry, which are we doing so well? I want us to grade it and see.
When it comes to tourism.
A questionnaire. Let's see how. So Nana, music, dance, food, fashion, arts. Which is 5, which is 4, which is 3,
let me do this. Okay. You realize that when you talk about the whole tourism bit, it's bigger than being in a bus and going around.
Yeah.
People want to come and live and have the experiential bit of it. There's Airbnb stay-ins. You know, you have family visitors who visit you. They want to see rural life. So tourism really comes in different forms, but it seems we've become so used to the bit of,
Sites.
sites and
Sites,
busing and all of it. So really, people come in for different things. We had Peja Literary Festival about 2-3 weeks ago. People came here for the poetry of it. People came here for the book culture. People came here for our music. That is why they came. And so I think every little creative corner has its own market, has its own niche that is driving people here. And so we should look at strengthening these various bases, and I think it will fly. I can speak to poetry, for instance. I can speak to the culture through business. I can speak to a few others because I'm directly
And
involved
music,
in them.
December in Ghana.
Yeah. You see that we are in, we have the Poetry Association of Ghana, for instance, started recently.
Okay.
So going to the Lagos International Poetry Festival, I was an ambassador both for myself and then the Poetry Association of Ghana. So if we are receiving people from elsewhere, it will be on these same tickets. When they come here, definitely they would want to eat Ghanaian food. They would want to see some interesting places. They would want to experience some Ghanaian dances, get some Ghanaian clothes, beads, accessories to take with them. All of these fall under the tourism bit. But I think the question now of local tourism is another thing. The local tourist market holds a lot of potential, but unfortunately, as we are saying, it seems to be a bit expensive. Traveling. And generally, I think travel around Africa is more expensive than just getting a plane ticket and going somewhere to Europe or to the States. I think these are things that we need to look at. At the local level, I feel sometimes it's bigger than us. There are powers that be that are bigger than us that affect some of these factors.
I was asking if we could grade it because I feel it's high time we put into perspective and know which one we are doing so well. Because per music, we know music is on the international market. In December, music in Ghana, people come. But then if December goes, January goes, when the year starts, what else do we have to show for tourism? So if it's music that we are good, we hit on it. If it's fashion, we hit on it. If it's food, if it's arts, so that it wouldn't be just within a particular month, so that we can work towards it. Because right now, tourism is the new-ish.
I know, right? And I mean, you're part of the National Folklore.
I'm
You're a member?
A member of the governing board
of the
National Folklore Board. So I'm not in the regular day-to-day of it.
But at least...
Please, let's make sure we are drawing that line. I know I know why I'm making that distinction because... Okay.
I mean, folklore is also another way of...
Definitely.
Exporting the Ghanaian culture out there.
Yes.
But we don't really hear much. All we hear is that, you've used our symbol...
That's when they come in.
I'm glad you're bringing this conversation up. Now, if you were to look at the organogram of the Ministry of Tourism, Folklore Board is supposed to actually be the mother, because folklore is actually the practice of our culture. Do you get my point? So every single day, folklore is in motion. Every single day, folklore is in motion. So there's some form of education going on. As we sit here, as we speak, we're talking about Ghanaian food, Ghanaian clothing. These are things of, folklore in motion. When we take tours and we take people around to see the way we build our houses. When you go up north, the way they build their huts, in certain communities, they have them as squares, rectangles, some places. There are reasons for doing these things. That kind of architecture, what does it, all of these things are standard the Folklore Board documents, and we help with public education a lot. Do you get my point? But unfortunately, people choose to bastardize us a lot. It's okay. It's all right. It doesn't hurt. You see, it's okay. If you were doing something and nobody was really castigating like that, but when all is said and done, when the toad is dead, you will see it's hype. We have folklore clubs in schools that are educating young people on what Ghana's, customs, cultural customs are, and all these things, traditional symbols. We need to know these things. Do you get my point? And we're taking it down to the basic level. Is anybody commending that? It's okay. You don't need to. You don't need to.
Let's
because if we are not saying
As I
how
talk
can
to you, we are working with UNESCO to put up a database of exactly what Ghana's folklore reaches are. Do you get my point? That way, it's not just a Ghanaian project. It's quite broad. These are some of the things that we are putting in place. At that rate, it would really help us. A lot of conventions that have been ratified, and a lot of work going on. So I think we need a bit more public education.
Sure,
Right.
yeah.
So I'm glad that people are bashing. At least we're getting the kind of
To be-
interaction
Yes.
we need.
Some
And
sort of
then,
attention.
please,
Nana, it's time for us to wrap up.
Oh.
So let's talk about your event. Then let's talk GH also tell us about the event, and then
Okay.
we can bring an end to the conversation.
all right. So it's been 23 years of poetry for me. And this is my 10th year since I quit my job to dedicate my attention to poetry.
It's been good, right?
It's been a very good journey. Ups and downs, of course.
Yeah.
You need the balance. If there was no good, you wouldn't know there's anything called bad.
Right.
And so it's been 10 years. And in marking 10 years, I want to have 2 events to commemorate my 10th anniversary. So I'm having 11/11. That's 11th November, next week Friday. Art Gallery, Art Africa, Osu. I'm having an Asasi and the 12 disciples. 12 disciples of poetry. Please, they are not disciples of the Asasi. Those are the 12 disciples of poetry.
Of poetry. Okay.
So Art Africa in Osu. And then on 12 December, there's the 6th edition of the Mental Picture series, Dab the Mixtape. So next week Friday, please, Art Africa, Osu, 5:30 p.m.
Okay.
You're invited.
Yes. Thank you very much, Samuel.
Yes.
1 minute, please.
So since Nana is celebrating 10 years with 2 events, let's say GH is celebrating 5 years with 1 event. So it's happening this Saturday at the Woods. It's been 5 years of giving people amazing experiences, helping people go through depression, stress, you know, bringing out people's potentials and also letting them know that they need to give themselves some self-care. So we want you to come around. If you know anyone who is depressed, get them, because we'll have some team bonding
I'll be
activities.
there. I'm very depressed.
Exactly, we need you there, but don't come alone.
I'll come in Anaya.
Me, I'm not depressed.
So we'll have so many activities. There'll be prizes for winners of the games and then all that. So
How does one get to be part of that?
for the
Yeah.
it's actually open to all.
free.
You can walk in.
Where they
because-
can get the information, because I mean, time is fast,
Yeah,
man.
so on our social media pages, Instagram, Let's Store GH, Facebook, Let's Store GH, there's YouTube, Let's Store GH as well, and then
All right.
Snapchat. Let's
Thank
Store
you very much, Samuel and Brittany and Nana Sassy.
Back on this show.
Yes, we definitely have you back again. Thank you.
You have to come back.
Yeah, you have to.
come back.
Thank you
Let's
very
come
much.
back soon.
It's been an amazing conversation. We've definitely and really learnt a lot. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.